Hey everyone, my name is Lisa Ann, and today I'll be talking about working from home. I'll be discussing both the pros and the cons of working from home, and I'll also provide you with some practical tips on how to work more effectively and efficiently. So let's get right into it. There has been a huge increase in the number of people who work from home since the start of the coronavirus outbreak. If you're one of them and also someone who is not used to working from home, it can be challenging to stay productive and overcome the struggles that you may not have experienced while working within an office. So in this video, we will be discussing this topic a bit more deeply, and I'll be providing you with some suggestions that will be helpful to consider and wise to implement into your everyday life. Let's start off with the pros and cons of working from home, because for those of you who know it, sometimes we just need to know that someone else just really gets us. And for those that think it's probably the best and the easiest thing to do ever, well, I have to object. There is a lot to say on this topic, but I'm only going to list 2 reasons for each category that I strongly believe are worth sharing and knowing about when it comes to working remotely. Let's start off with the pros. First of all, you save money. Working from home can help you save money. First, because you don't have to commute anymore. There's no more crowded buses or crowded trains and no more frustrating traffic jams. Second, there's no more unnecessary lunch purchases or snacks or coffee breaks. You can save a lot just by buying your food from the grocery store or the supermarket and preparing it yourself. So if this is something you still have yet to master, make a note that it's something to work on. And if you're working from home and you still haven't learned how to save, that's worth reflecting upon because your circumstances make it far easier to save than it is for many others who don't have the option to work remotely. Now, pro number 2 is that you can make more time for yourself or for your loved ones. This is one of the most common reasons why people choose to work from home. It lets them enjoy a better work-life balance. You'll have more time to spend with your family and of course more time, or at least I hope more time, for yourself. The time spent commuting could have been minutes or even hours, and now they can be better spent on more important things. So this could be cooking breakfast or cooking dinner for you and your family, enjoying a morning walk with your dog, or even finishing the day off with demanding but soothing yoga session. Having more time overall has other benefits too, like being able to attend school events that you may have had to miss before because of work, and being able to accommodate friends more easily who maybe don't have the same luxury or the choice of working remotely. And now for the cons. There are so many and possibly endless distractions, and that is the biggest con that I see. While other office environments are also known for having their own set of distractions, I have to argue that the potential for distractibility when working from home is far greater, if not quite possibly exponential. Let's take, for example, things like unintentional interruptions from people within your home. Let's say that you have 2 young children running around the house. Anytime they run by your office, they want to show you that craft that they made, or maybe they're crying because they want mommy to feed them. I don't know about you guys, but my distractions usually tend to happen during the most impromptu moments, like when I'm on a client call, or maybe I'm on a call with a prospect, or even more frustrating, when you have your head down and you're just in the zone and your creative thoughts are really flowing, then all of a sudden you're interrupted. Did you know that it actually takes you 20 minutes to get back into the zone after you're interrupted? Imagine if that happened 3 times, 6 times, 9 times, 10 times in a day. That's a full minimum of an hour of wasted time. Another thing is having endless access to social media, as well as streaming platforms like Netflix and YouTube. Watching the latest episode of your favorite show or watching the latest episode from your favorite YouTuber, it might be difficult for you to resist when you're at home. Distractions certainly are everywhere, but when there is no boss hovering over your shoulder to see what you're working on, it's a lot easier to get distracted and to actually stay distracted. Now, con number 2 sometimes leads to an unhealthy lifestyle. This is something that I really want people to digest. For some, working from home is actually beneficial to their health because of that little bit more time that you have. But for a lot of people, it's harmful. For example, people who sit all day, they're at a high risk of getting back pains and other related illnesses. In fact, according to a study, sitting for a long period of time, especially with poor posture, causes pain in many parts of the body, not just your back. Now, another thing worth mentioning is the risk of becoming obese. There are a lot of freelancers who gain weight as a result of an unhealthy lifestyle while working from home. Things like ordering food and drinks instead of making their own, or overeating while working are some of the things that people do when they're working from home. I think these are things that you should be aware of when you decide to work from home, or maybe if you're already working from home and you're not achieving the results that you're looking for. Now, why don't we discuss the things that you can do to stay productive, efficient, and effective while working in the comfort of your home? The first thing on my list is to schedule in breaks. This is actually one of the best benefits of working from home, is having some control or even complete control over your working hours. A 2011 study found that the most productive workers were those that worked for around 50 minutes and then took a 15 to 20 minute break. So if you're not accustomed to taking breaks, this may be a good pattern to start with. You can take a break after a certain period of time, or even perhaps after completion of a certain task. Now, if you feel drained or tired, when you actually get up and walk around, maybe it's going to grab a glass of water, or maybe even taking a pee break, this is always a good break. Now, suggestion number 2 is to draw some boundaries. I mentioned a while ago that having other people in the house can be distracting, and it really, really is. I have a friend who moved home to save money, and she would tell me how much her dad drives her nuts. Her dad would unintentionally interrupt her in the middle of her work all the time. And it was actually usually every time that she was on the phone. Being able to stay on task is difficult enough, but when it affects whether or not you can remember your train of thought, or if you can recall what the person on the other line was saying, yeah, that's a problem. And one that could cost you a client or even just a lot of money. So she found the best method is literally having to tell him every single time that she's getting on a business call that I'll be on the phone, because otherwise he forgets. She has to yell it actually, because she works in the basement and he's old and old people sometimes forget. Telling people in your house that they should respect that you're working and them actually respecting it, that sounds like a dream scenario. I'm sure it's possible for some people, but I also know it's probably not that likely for every single person. So here are some other suggestions that you can do. Make and put signs on your door that you are working or not. Aside from verbally letting your roommates, your lover, your parents, you can have a visual reminder, aka a sign on your door, that basically is telling them, don't bother me. This is a perfect stop sign for some people, and actually, maybe you could actually get a stop sign and put that on your door. They'll get it immediately, and remember how important it is to let you focus on your work. After all, you're working, right? You're not just playing video games, and that's what some people need to realize in your household. Now, although the same way that some people are old and forgetful, some are also just disrespectful. Make sure to stand up for yourself and get some clear boundaries. Now, suggestion number 3, create an at-home office experience. I believe that having an at-home office is crucial when working remotely. You guys can see my office. This is where I do everything. Having a designated space just for your access and designed only for your use can keep you away from distractions. I understand that everyone's at-home office can really look different, but let's start with something simple, like setting a consistent chair and table where you can always do your tasks. When you do this, you are training your brain that that area is for working, that your bed is for sleeping, and your couch is for relaxing, and so on. This will likely help you become more alert, more focused, and organized when sitting in that specific designated space for you. So make sure that you also personalize your working environment. It may seem dumb or even like a waste of time, but it helps, trust me. You can change up the lighting, buy a nice pink chair like I have, put up some motivational quotes somewhere, a cute little character there, anything. anything, just start anywhere as long as you start to personalize your office to you. And after all, that space is where you're going to be spending most of your time. For me, my desk is filled with things that are cute or funny or creative in some type of way. Things that make me feel really good when I look at them, or things that remind me of the goals that I'm trying to achieve. I have whiteboards, I have lamps, I have my microphone, I have things, I have my computer, I have everything that I need set up in my office. Now, suggestion number 4 is to keep regular work hours. Even though working for others and commuting to an office can be miserable, there is one thing that office life offers that can be difficult to replicate, and that is having a routine sleep, wake, and working hours. Regulating your hours is a great method to incorporate when you transition to working at home. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to work a 9 to 5 every day. You should work when you are most productive. Some people that's in the morning, some in the evening, some in the afternoon. When are you most productive? It will help if you have a definite schedule for your work though, and you will feel so much more on top of things. Remember, this is customizable. If you want to work for 2 hours, take a break for 3, and then finish your work later in that day, that's cool. As long as you get your work done, right? But figure out what works best for you and then stick with it. Now, I also recommend setting a day or two as your non-working days. Maybe that actually means the weekends off, like many people in the world who are stuck working in that 9 to 5 job. But if not the weekend, pick 2 other days during the week just to let your mind rest. Now, suggestion number 5 is to experiment with what makes you efficient. When it comes to working from home, there are those who have mastered it and those that dream of what mastery actually looks like. What this means is that it's time to get scientific. You can't seem to get working from home quite right. Well, then let's figure it out and let's think about what works against you and actually what works for you. Keep notes for every day and try to decipher when you were the most productive and what things might have played a role for you. You'll have to really be specific with this. Some of the things you may want to consider will include how much you actually slept. What time did you wake up? What did you eat for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner? And if you skipped any meals actually. If you took breaks and when you took them. Who was home that day? And then literally anything else that kind of bothered your day or made your day more productive, such as listening to music versus no music, what your general mood was, and so on. There's so much that can affect our demeanor, and it can be as simple as what we ate or something else. Now, aside from that, there's a lot of things that can serve as really great work and productivity tools, but you wouldn't know that these were actually productivity tools to begin with. A kitchen timer can help you make sure that you don't go over your 30-minute work break. Stopwatches can make you informed on how much time things actually take you. For people with poor perception of time, this tool is invaluable. Now, keeping calendars is a great way to get rid of the feeling that we're carrying the weight on our shoulders all the time. Don't just track holidays or birthdays. Use them to track doctor's appointments, calls with clients, days off, and even get-togethers with friends. If it's in your calendar, you're not going to forget it. Utilizing to-do lists can also help us stay super focused and allow us for no confusion in regards to how our time should actually be spent. This one you may need to work out. Some people honestly like writing down things by hand on a to-do list. Others do better by writing things on the computer because it's more flexible. Take advantage of resources such as Google Docs and Gmail if you need to. And lastly, stay open-minded to all the ways in which technology can help you. So for instance, if you have an Amazon Echo or even a Google Home, do you use it to your advantage? Most people think it's great just for ordering items, playing music, or turning on and off the TV, or maybe even your bedroom lamp, but honestly, there is so much possible that you can use these tools for. You can program so many things into it. So Alexa has these things called skill blueprints, where you can really customize how you use the device and how the device responds to you. Alexa can basically say whatever it is that you want her to say. I have a friend who specifically loves the My Question feature. She first used this when she broke up with her boyfriend, and she used to say to Alexis, "Why did I break up with Jason?" Or, "I miss Jason." And then Alexa would say whatever she programmed it to say. And believe it or not, this was super helpful and super useful for her in remembering why she decided to break it off in the first place. And that she should just hang in there and know that she'll be better soon. That the pain won't be lasting there for a long time. Now, it's true that Alexa, she couldn't get up and hug her, but hearing someone else's voice can be really powerful when we feel at our worst. So why do you think so many people like watching YouTube videos? Because you're hearing someone else talk about it. So she then decided to apply this to her work. So now, when she tells Alexa, I don't feel like doing my work, or I don't want to work today, Alexa has the perfect response because she crafted it herself. Suddenly, she's reminded of what rewards await her if she continues to do her work, and she'll also be reminded of the things that she could lose if she doesn't earn the money that she needs to pay for her bills. And does it actually keep my friend in check and on task? You betcha it does. So while the My Questions feature is called My Questions, you don't have to really ask her something per se. You can just make a statement where she knows how to respond to your input. Now, are these some weird suggestions? Maybe. But that's because I don't think people literally understand or consider all of their options out there. Working from home, it can be super hard. It can be super frustrating. It can cause some issues. But just like running a business can be super hard. Yet there's ways to automate both to some degree. I'm curious, what are your favorite aspects of working from home? Or maybe, what do you struggle with the most? Let me know in the comments right below this video. And actually, while you're down there, make sure to hit that like button if I got you thinking a little bit differently today. And be sure to subscribe for more videos about working from home, online business, and digital marketing. I'll see you real soon.